Operation Fight for a Fitter Fort. And I don't know if anyone of you have gone on and seen what we're about, but it's all about getting healthier Fort Wayne. Today we're going to have myself, Kathy, and Miles kind of speak about the holidays and just setting you up for some better game plans. What we're preaching at Operation F4 headquarters is don't worry about gaining weight, don't worry about losing weight during the holidays, just work on maintaining, work on maintenance. You know, what are some of your cues, what are some of your triggers, where do you overeat, if you overeat, all that stuff. We want to give you some ammo for your arsenal, so to speak, to use. We recommend that anyone and everyone go to our website, opf4.com, and check out what we have. We have a couple things in the works right now, including a teamwork or a team function where we're going to get the city to start challenging each other for miles walked, steps logged, stairs logged, whatever it is. So if you take a look, I put at the top here, I'm going to be speaking on two books, The Power of Habit and Willpower. Both, I would recommend getting one of those in your rotation during the holiday season. It's going to be an amazing game changer for you and your lifestyle habits. But if you see, I put one of the most, I think, interesting facts. 40% of the actions people perform each day aren't actually decisions, but habits. And when you think about that, that's incredible. Almost half of what you do in a day, you think you're making decisions, but you're actually not. You're just doing a habit. How many times have we driven to work, but we were supposed to be going somewhere else? We get into that automated pilot method. So it's all about recognizing your habits. Yeah, buddy?
I think I like what we do. We work on stuff, but we're not, like when we put to go work out before we go to work. Because nowadays, people are gaming because they have some stuff, some bad. When they have a restaurant, they serve bad food at work.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, you know.
Exactly, and that's what I'm going to talk about here real quick. Is the habit loop. If you take a look at the pictures, what's really nice is our brain doesn't know or distinguish the difference between good habits and bad habits. All it distinguishes are the cues, the routines, and the rewards. So the first example I'll use is someone who's a smoker. The cue may be hearing that flick of the Bic lighter. Their brain goes into that automated mode of knowing that they're going to get a cigarette afterwards. And the reward, of course, will be the nicotine and everything else that the brain gets from hitting that cigarette. So what we want to work on are, during the holidays, are what are our overeating cues or even over-drinking, just overindulging all around. And trust me, I'm not standing on my soapbox because I am one of those people that doesn't like to stop after 2 beers or 2 cookies or anything like that. So it's just being self-aware. So if you take a look, the first kind of the framework for changing a habit, isolating the cue, identifying the routine, and the fun part is experimenting with the rewards. And I will just go through briefly, kind of touching on these, but I recommend when you get home with this, read through it 2-3 times. See what you can learn, see what you can get out of it so you can really apply this to your life, because this isn't for overeating. This is for more exercising. This is for doing stuff at work that is a lot tougher. You know, once it becomes a habit, we don't have to exert any willpower. And that's what drains us through the day is fighting against our natural tendency to do something. So we've all seen those people that you want to choke out in the morning that get up like clockwork at 4 in the morning, go work out, and they're by 5 a.m. all this. That's not me, but that's a habit. They don't have to, you know, it's so ingrained now. So if you look, like I said, just it gives definitions of what the cue, the routine, and the reward are. I'll flip to the next page. And I kind of talk about that example. So the cue, the routine, and the reward. The next picture you see there, the clock says 3:30. This example that they use in the book, this gentleman was having a problem with overeating cookies. At 3:30 every day, he would get up from his desk, he would go to the cafeteria, and he would eat a cookie. So he started experimenting. He identified his cues. If you look, cues are all broken down into 5 categories: location, time, emotional state, other people, and immediately preceding action. So for him, it was the time of day, so he started working on that. When 3:30 hit, is it really the time of the day? So he waited till 3:50. Is he still hungry? Maybe that wasn't the cue. Maybe it wasn't the routine of getting the cookie. to kind of fast forward to what happened, what he found out was that he was more about getting up from his desk and socializing with people. He wasn't necessarily hungry at 3:30, but the routine his brain craved was being able to get up and socialize with someone. So maybe that is something where when people start bringing in the treats for Thanksgiving and Christmas, it's not necessarily that we all do it. When we're standing around a group of people, we just mindlessly pick up food and eat it. So we got to identify that cue. Is it there standing talking to people, or is it that I really want this cookie? So that's, like I said, that is something I would recommend for you to take home, is start identifying your cues. When you're at the office, notice when you get up to get those seconds on cookies or thirds on cookies or whatever it is. Then you can start working on the routine, and the fun part, of course, is experimenting with the reward, like I said. Now, the last part here I'll touch on, it says, is having a plan. And that is, without a doubt, the most crucial aspect of all of this. So in that second book, Willpower, Rediscovering the Greatest Human Strength, on the very last page here, I have 2 plans, if you will, that you can try to follow. And I'm using the example of overeating the treats in the holidays. But again, this is a mathematical equation. It's the cue, the routine, the reward. The cue could be setting out your gym clothes the night before so your brain knows the routine is you're working out in the morning, and as the reward is the endorphins. You can fit anything into those 3 categories and start changing your habits in your life, which is an incredible feat to overcome. So the first one's the bright line rule, and it sounds just like it says. You make a clear, distinct rule with yourself. If I'm at Grandma Joe's and Uncle Jeb's or whoever, I'm not going to have a third plate. I'm not going to have a third cookie. You make that clear, distinct line. And you don't say I'm not going to have a second or third cookie, because that will fail. You have to make the distinction. I will not have a third cookie or a fourth cookie. There's no gray area for you to kind of wiggle around it. Now, if that's not enough, I like to use the implementation plan, which again, just kind of like basic mathematics. If X happens, then I will Y. So say, for example, you have a smartphone and you keep notes on it. Maybe write yourself a note to yourself that you would read. So as I put here in the example, the implementation plan, if X happens, then I will Y. If I go for that third cookie, then my Y will be going to the restroom, pulling out my phone or piece of paper or whatever it is, and says, Chris, do you really need that third cookie? Try doing this. Whatever my plan is, I have it. And again, it doesn't have to be that. Your implementation plan is what you set up, what you know will work for you. That's what makes it individualized, is that it's going to work for you. So it may be, another thing I like to do is have my friends know what my downfalls are, so they can say, do you really need that third or fourth drink, Chris? No, you're probably right. So it's just looking out for yourself. But that's really kind of, and it's a lot. Like I said, I would highly recommend going through and reading through this again, seeing what you can get out of it. I am always available as much as I can when you go on to opf4.com. You can email us if you do have further questions, or come talk to me after this. I'd love to hear it. Are there any questions immediately I can help answer with this that I didn't cover? Yes. If you want to go to opf4.com, OP like operation, OPF4, and there is a Contact Us tab, and it will just shoot it to our Gmail, and it'll have the email, so you don't have to write the whole thing. Yes?
What is the estimation on the teams? We work for the city, and that's what we're trying to do, is set the team up so we can get any ideas.
I know, I appreciate it. We're at of course, we're working with a web programmer, and we're given the times, and then we just are at, there. He emailed us, he says next week, and everything will be in place. Right now, it's a framework, but it's only weight loss is what we would be able to challenge. And I kind of had to make the call and say, let's wait till we get the steps, the miles, and the activity minutes, because weight loss will be a byproduct of what we do here. We don't want people to start, especially during the holidays, hey, let's have a weight loss contest. Well, let's get realistic. That's not going to go very well. So we appreciate the patience. It is coming, I promise, very soon. And, of course, we will have a massive outreach to the city to get it going and have teams. But we love that people are already forming teams and ready to go for this. So once it rolls out, we'll be clicking on all cylinders. So.